Minister of Labor addresses the proposed changes to the AOV legislation from 62 to 65. Local artists speak about their work and their inspiration. But first up, United Unions are demanding the resignation of the Minister of Justice. Those are the headlines for Tuesday, July the 21st, 2020. And this is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me. And as usual, we have a packed newscast for you this evening, so let's get started. In our first story, members of the United Unions have requested the Minister of Justice resign her position. They are demanding that the Honourable Minister addresses them with a written and verbal apology in the presence of their union presidents and representatives, just as she did in front of the government building no later than Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2020, or they are requesting her to resign her position as Minister of Justice. In a letter addressed to and sent to the President of Parliament, members of the United Unions gives an explanation of what transpired between them and the Minister of Justice and why they are calling for her resignation. The letter was addressed to and sent to the President of Parliament on July the 16th, 2020, and it reads as follows. The workers of the Ministry of Justice, represented by the unions NAPB, WICSU, PSU, and ABVO, decided to come together on July the 7th, 2020, and pen the Minister of Justice, Ms. Anna Richardson, a letter. This decision was based on the numerous cancellations of meetings that were to be held between the Honourable Minister and the various unions. This letter was submitted to the Honourable Minister of Justice with the objective to inform her of issues that warrant urgent attention and requested a confirmation of receipt within 48 hours and to confirm if the requested time frame for the execution of the matters at hand and that it has met with her approval. In said letter, a request was made for confirmation of the proposed timeline that, in our opinion, based on the matters at hand, could have been dealt with within 7 days, while others would have taken a little longer. Thus, 14 days were suggested. The 48 hours passed, and there was no response from the Honourable Minister. However, seeing the urgent matters that was being handled at the time, with regards to the deadline from State Secretary Knops, we took this into consideration and sent the Honourable Minister a reminder letter requesting an answer in an additional 24 hours. On Wednesday, July the 15th, 2020, we received a visit from the Honourable Member of Parliament Bonkamper, and during his speech to us, he promised that he was going to use the Honourable Minister and request her to respond to our letter, as this was the least that she could do. That afternoon, our President, Mr. Mauricia, received a phone call from the Minister where she stated that she was going to call back with a time for us to meet with her. When the Honourable Minister called back, she then informed our President that she did not respond to the letter due to the fact that she felt very disrespected because we, the members, gave her deadlines, and who do we think we are to place demands on her? This was not accepted by the membership, and we decided to go to our administration building in an attempt to persuade our Honourable Minister to speak with us. The Honourable Minister in turn sent a message via our President while we were at the building that she found us very disrespectful to come to the building, demanding to meet with her as she is busy with her work, and she has already indicated that she will only meet with us, as previously stated, on Friday, July the 17th, 2020, and would receive a letter to this regard. On Thursday, July the 16th, our President received a phone call from the Honourable Minister informing him that someone informed her that our President said she addressed him with obscene language. We found that so inappropriate, as we, the members at that time, was waiting on a response from the Honorable Minister with regards to our letter and could not get a response or the time of day from her. She also informed the President that a letter would be ready for him to collect and that it would be ready in the afternoon. We, the workers, decided to accompany our presidents as they went to collect the letter at our administration building. While waiting for the letter, we were informed by the senior policy advisor, Mr. Romney, that the Honorable Minister was on her way. We were all elated that finally we had the attention of the Honorable Minister. Unfortunately, after waiting for so long to hear the address of the Honorable Minister, we, the members within the Ministry of Justice, found her approach, tone of voice, facial expression, and body language towards us totally intolerable and unacceptable. During this time, after almost 10 years of executing our daily tasks while awaiting our salary adjustment with the expectation that the Honorable Minister will offer moral support and a clear view of the way forward in rectifying the function book. The Honorable Minister instead addressed us in a way we felt totally disrespected, as her behavior and conduct was totally unprofessional. As the Honorable Minister so eloquently stated, I had a regular 9-to-5 job and was living within my means. I was content. That does not apply to some of us workers who are trying to maintain our daily way of life with a high cost of living and perform a risky job earning less than 3,000 guilders monthly. Her statement depicting that she was born in St. Rose Hospital does not answer our questions or bring any clarity to the subject at hand. The Honorable Minister also boldly stated, I don't have to be in this position to eat. I was working a regular job just like you all to eat and pay my regular bills, and I was content. I did not take the position for the name and salary. This statement is beyond disrespect and oozed all sense of arrogance. The Honorable Chairman, unlike the Minister who can brag of not needing the position, we, the justice workers, don't have a position on our job, and as such, we have been struggling for the past 10 years to pay our regular bills. In our opinion, as the Honorable Minister who was appointed to represent us, the justice workers, we did not expect to hear these words coming from her lips. We, the workers of the Ministry of Justice, gave the Honorable Minister the opportunity to speak, and we listened. As painful as it was, we stood there and listened. However, when our union president and Ms. Phillips was trying to speak, the Honorable Minister rudely interrupted on numerous occasions by raising her voice and pointing fingers while screaming at Ms. Phillips. We are all adults and professionals. The respect we gave the Honorable Minister by listening to her, we were expecting and deserved the same in return. We feel offended and insulted with the approach of the Honorable Minister, and just like the Honorable Minister, we would like to do things the right way and not only in the media. Thus, we demand that the Honorable Minister address us with a written and verbal apology in the presence of our union presidents and representatives, just as she did in front of our government building no later than Thursday, July the 23rd, 2020, or we are hereby requesting her to resign her position as Minister of Justice. We have given our unions the mandate to forward this letter on behalf to all addressees. Regards. All justice workers, with copies to the Honorable Eugene Holliday, the Council of Ministers, the NAPB Union, WICSU, PSU Union, and the OBVO Union, and all the various media entities. And still to come, Prefet on French St. Martin signs agreement with Super U supermarket to lower prices. We'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And as we continue now with more news, Minister of Public Health, Labor and Social Affairs, VSA, the Honorable Richard Panafleck, speaking at the urgent plenary session of Parliament on July the 15th, addressed the proposed changes to the ROV legislation from 62 to 65. In his presentation, the minister said that these changes started since 10-10-10. He expounds further.
Today, I'm here to present to you the proposed changes to the ROV legislation, better known as de Landsverordening Verhoging ROV-pensioen en pensioenleeftijd tot 65 jaar. These changes will significantly revise the ROV and the RWW in order to make the system more sustainable and at the same time to increase the benefits received by our pensioners. The discussion on ROV age in Samarden started right after 10-10-10 with a VSA-led steering group, Social Security and Pensions. This steering group produced towards a sustainable and affordable ROV pension system in 2012. Our present measures are still based on the directions pointed out by this report. It was decided to gradually increase the ROV age with the first step from 60 to 62 years. This first age increase went into effect in 2015, with intention to be followed later by increasing to 65. At the same time, in 2015, the ROV benefit was recognized as insufficient, and a significant increase was implemented to 1,000 guilders per month. After 2015, preparations for the next phase begin. The package ROV changes that is presented today is the result of this. It is clear that the ROV benefit is still insufficient to, on its own, supply a livable income. That is why we profoundly researched the financial implications on the increase in the benefit. Therefore, an updated of the actual model used by the VSA was necessary to estimate all financial consequences and find the maximum increase of the benefit without compromising the health of the fund. Recognizing such, it is important to ensure that the fund will remain sustainable. Unfortunately, we are on the brink of a rapid aging of the population. The same large numbers of workers who grew our economy and funded our system so well during the 90s and the 80s are now approaching retirement. Therefore, and with an increased aging population, the projections are that a lot more money will be paid out of the fund in the next 10 years. While we are already in the final stages of these proposals, the introduction of a higher ROV age of 65 set by the Kingdom Council of Ministers as one of the conditions toward the further liquidity support for our country has placed an extra urgency on this piece of legislation. However, despite this, as incoming minister, I found it my duty to explore whether the proposed changes before you, in particular the amount of pension to be paid out, could be increased to match the best islands, Saba and Statia, at approximately 1,400 guilders.
And as we continue now with more news, and in news out of French-Saint-Martin, the prefet of the commune of French-Saint-Martin, Sylvie Fauchère, on Friday signed a price moderation agreement with Super U Supermarkets Management for 2020 to counter the high cost of living, something the prefet said is particularly relevant in this year of coronavirus and subsequent economic difficulties that came with it for residents of French-Saint-Martin. The scheme has, in fact, been in place since 2013, but this is the first year that it is being implemented in French St. Martin. Some 22 stores in Guadeloupe have implemented the scheme since 2013. The scheme is called Quality Price Shield and makes it possible to guarantee a quality price ratio on a list of mass market products established on the basis of a price modernization agreement between the state and distributors. Negotiations took place on February the 4th and the 11th with representatives of the mass distribution sector involving freight operators, forwarders, and carriers. The list of products selected meets the requirements of public health through the low representation of sweet and fatty products, the increase in fruits and vegetables, and economic development, and enhancement of local production with many products from Caribbean companies, particularly in terms of fresh produce, meat, fruit, and vegetables. The BQP products are indicated on the shelves by display of the BQP logo. The list includes 57 products. The maximum global price allowed for this list is fixed at 97 euros. The list is divided into 3 subcategories or baskets with a maximum price for each basket of products. Food and basic necessities at 53 euros, hygiene, maintenance, and household products at 24 euros, and children's and school materials at 20 euros. The Prefet said that she would like to thank all the partners in this agreement for their commitment to increasing the purchasing power of consumers in St. Martin. Currently, the agreement is with the 2 Super U supermarkets on the island, but other retailers are invited to follow suit, the prefecture indicated. And with the peak of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season approximately 3 weeks away, coastal residents living near beaches as well as businesses that are located along coastal areas are advised to have plans in place for possible storm surge inundation in the event of a passing hurricane along the south coast of the country. The 2020 hurricane season has been forecasted to be a busy one, and therefore everybody is strongly advised to be prepared. The Office of Disaster Management, the ODM, says these plans should be in place year-round as a natural disaster can happen at any time. Families should take extra time to practice the plan. ODM urges families to use the opportunity now to review those plans to make sure that you are ready. Property damages that can be expected from hurricanes and coastal flooding is a threat to life. Most coastal communities are vulnerable to one or more different kinds of flooding and related hazards. Frequent flooding from storm surge and winds and storm-caused erosion of bluffs and beaches. Coastal areas of St. Martin are mostly found on the south side of the island, and these are Beacon Hill, the vicinity of the Princess Juliana International Airport Road, connection to Beacon Hill, the Simpson Bay Beach, Pelican and Phillipsburg, the Great Bay Beach, along the boardwalk, Point Blanche, and Guana Bay. In the event of a passing hurricane, homeowners should secure their possessions to upper levels of the structure. If you decide not to stay in your home, you should make the necessary arrangements about where you and your family would stay to ride out the storm or the hurricane. One should not wait until the last moment to evacuate their home. This should be done before the hurricane arrives, a minimum of 24 hours prior to the arrival of the storm system. First responders won't be able to go out during hurricane-force winds to execute a rescue if you are trapped and inundated by storm surge. Rising storm waters can also flood coastal roads. Therefore, you should leave 24 hours before. And now turning to our weather forecast for July the 21st, 2020. A tropical wave will bring an increased chance of showers and a low chance of thundershower as it moves across the region today through tonight. Meanwhile, the Atlantic high pressure system will generate mostly light to moderate winds. Seas will peak near 5 feet during the next few days. So the outlook through Thursday midday, partly cloudy with isolated showers. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, local artists speak about their work and their inspiration. We'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
And as we continue now with our series with the Be the Change Foundation, local artist and sculptor Timothy Dowling, local fashion designer Zilla Duzong Hazel, and president of the Be the Change Foundation, Ms. Melanie Schwazi, spoke to our news department. They told us about their work, how long they have been painting, and what inspires them. Talk to us about your work, Tim, and what inspires you.
What inspires me?
How long have you been painting?
Okay, well, to go back a little bit further, I've been in the animation industry for over 15 years. So I've worked with different companies like Cartoon Network, Disney, Nickelodeon, and I always knew I wanted to come back home. So in 2017, I came back, and then we had Irma.
Great timing.
Yeah, great timing.
Exactly.
Wonderful. And then I was always working on my exhibition to have the one-man show. And then we had the pandemic. So, but luckily art doesn't ever go bad. So,
Exactly.
That's in storage, and it's gonna happen.
Okay, okay. So we can still look forward to your
Exactly.
exhibition.
Like, I'm hoping
Okay.
to have the exhibition in November.
Okay.
If everything goes well, with the global, situation.
Exactly right. Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. What inspires you, Tim?
What inspires me? A lot of stuff inspires me, from reading books, my environment, flora, fauna, a lot of stories, especially animation. Yeah.
Well, basically, in 2017, I lost the store.
Yeah.
It was totally damaged and everything, and I just had
wiped you out.
exactly. I just had a two-month-old baby. So for me to go back and invest in, repairing the store and everything, I was like, no, I'm just gonna take a break, and I'm going to revamp my concept, revamp my brand, come out with something different, or focus on something different. For some people, it was like, it's a tragedy that you lost your store, but for me, it was like, no, it's like a new birth or something like that. So I took the time to take care of my second son, and then in the meantime, while I was home, I just started sewing a lot of the bags. You remember my hand-painted bags? Yes.
The biggest seller, right?
Exactly. So coming from creating the clothing and seeing that a lot of people were not able to afford it because it's quite pricey, seeing that I have to print my own fabric, custom fabric, and then create clothing and then price them at a price that is advantage enough for the local community. It was not going as well, but then the hand-painted bags was really popular with the tourists, with the locals and everything. So I said, okay, the focus is going to be on that.
The first phase, has that been completed?
Of the mural project?
Of the mural project,
Yes,
right.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's the most important part about it was definitely the murals.
Because I saw some of them, and I was wondering whether they were going to go the entire length of the building. In other words.
Yes. So there's only, I think, a few of them that are still doing some final touches. Zilla was just saying that she has some final details that she needs to make it absolutely perfect, which I already think they're perfect. But there are a few artists that are still working on them. There's one across from the Methodist Church, for example, by Ludalia Brill, who's one of our younger artists, and hers is huge. So we couldn't have expected her to finish at the same rate as some other of the artists, but indeed they're wrapping up, and we're not rushing them because you can't rush art. So.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, veteran Calypsonian Elias, the Mighty Magic Rampasad, who died on Monday last, was well respected among his fans and fellow Calypsonians. According to Fernando Clark, who organized the Calypso competition back in 2017, said that the Mighty Magic was one of those that competed in the competition. According to Fernando Clark, the Mighty Magic, that whenever he appeared on stage, he earned the respect of the fans and his fellow Calypsonians.
But back in 2017, Raw Promotions Foundation organized the Calypso Elimination and Calypso Finals show. That should be the Magical Calypso Eliminations and Finals. And the Mighty Magic was a part of that Calypso Elimination, and he made it to the finals. Magic was one of those guys that whenever he comes on stage, he earned the respect of his fans and his fellow Calypsonians, because he was always one to come in a surprising topic and a surprising way of looking at things. If we go back to some of his music, the Bubblers list, Smelling It, and those sort of things, you will see that Magic was one of those unpredictable Calypsonians. And in doing some research about the Mighty Magic some years ago, I realized that Magic was very well known in Trinidad also. As you know, Magic is originally from Trinidad, and people like the Mighty Sparrow, Chip C, Chalk Dust, all of them talked about Magic because they knew him, as a Calypsonian. So when he came here, and he participated in the Calypso competitions, he was always a great asset to the competition. And back in 2017, when he participated in the Calypso eliminations, and I do believe that might have been his last competition. It was good to have him on stage, and he really performed for his fans and his fellow Calypsonians, and they were all happy with him. Magic was the oldest Calypsonian singing. He was the most senior. At the time, Magic was like 84 years old, So he was one of the seniors, and for his age, he moved very well. He remembered his lines, and at that age, he was the envy of many others. So Magic will be long remembered. We will remember him. His music will live on. His big hit, Obey the Highway Code, I'm sure that is a song that will live on here in St. Martin, as well as other Caribbean islands where it became very popular. And Magic is one of those guys that will leave a legacy behind. He will be missed, and to his families and friends, I want to extend my deepest sympathies, and I wish them strength in these challenging times.
Whining on bam bam, have on the jazz. Hey,
And on behalf of the SXM News team, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to their family and friends who are left to mourn. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM News team, we thank you once again for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.